Okay, hi everyone, Daryl here. I'm just going to do this short video. It's actually to try to explain and try to understand what happened perhaps about a month ago, whereby oil futures actually turned negative. And let's try to see whether we can learn any lessons from what actually happened and try to see whether we can use that in our maybe property investment journey or in our journey when we are investing in stocks or any other form of assets. Okay, if you understand oil, oil is actually a raw material, and we need oil. So we need oil to power our factories, power our economy. We need gasoline. We need petroleum for cars. Uh, we need it to power our airplanes. Okay, so oil is actually a proper commodity. It's something that we can use. Okay, but what oil futures does, right, is because I can't have I can't sell oil in the market because we sell it by a barrel. I'm not going to bring all my barrel to a market, to a certain place, and then you come and buy this barrel off me and physically carry the barrel off. So if let's say you require oil, what you do is that you come to me. Let's say I'm an oil producer. You come to me and say, hey, I want to buy this oil, and I'll say, okay, I will deliver a barrel of oil to you for maybe 30 US dollars. And then you take this, I'll draft you a contract, and this contract is actually called a futures contract. And what you do is that you take this, and 1 month later, I'll deliver the oil to you. But somewhere along the way, this process actually, uh, I would say, was perverted, was corrupted, whatever you would like it to say. But what happens is that traders started to see this actual transaction as something that they could make money off. So what they did was that they said that, okay, maybe rather than you selling to this guy who actually needs the oil for maybe $30, why not I buy it off you? I'm willing to buy it off you for a higher price, maybe 31 or 32. But once I buy it for 31 or $32, then I'm going to try to sell it in the open market for $35. So oil traders, they buy off the oil producers and they try to trade it in the market. But the final delivery is to be delivered to the person who needs the oil. So then it comes back to the point that a lot of people are saying that the stock market or something, or it's all about speculation. But property is something whereby uh, it's all brick and mortar, so it's something that we use. That's why brick and mortar is a more stable investment. But if we were to use the oil analogy and we think about it, uh, are we buying properties to stay? Are we buying properties to use? Or is our intrinsic reason to buy property mere speculation? How many of you out there who are in the market for a property for your family to stay are actually asking the question, or are actually asking your spouses or your children, what type of property would you like to stay in? So I've been in the property market for about 17 years, and when I first entered it, I actually had people who were coming to me saying, Daryl, I would like to have a 3 bedroom property that is close to a particular secondary school because I would like my son or daughter to enter this secondary school, and at the same time I would like to have 3 good sized bedrooms because my daughter would like to sleep on a queen size bed. So besides a queen size bed in her room, her common room, it should be able to fit a study table. At the same time, my son would like something that is maybe pool facing, and maybe something on a high level. Okay, or maybe my son would like something with a patio. So these are very specific things, and they may ask me to look for something with a helper's room because they may have a helper, and they will want the helper to sleep in the helper's room. So these are very specific utilitarian criteria that buyers are actually putting forth to their property agent. And then from the property agent perspective, right, we were actually looking for a house that has utility, has proper utility to the family. And then we brought them there. And then a byproduct of this, right, would be that this house, this property, right, could make money in the long run for them if they were to want to sell it maybe in maybe like 7, 8 or 9 or 10 years time. Okay, but in essence, right, they were looking for an ideal home for their family. They were looking for a home. They were not looking for an investment property. Can you see how much different this is? A home versus an investment property. So at the same time, right, what is the difference between the speculators in the oil market and people who are speculating in the property market? We are still taking an intrinsic product with certain use, and what we're doing, right, is that we are just trying to pass off to the next person to make a quick buck out of it. Okay, I'm not saying that I'm not mirroring property to the oil market, the property market to the oil market, but what I'm saying is that if everyone who was in the oil market was in there as an end user, which means that if there were no speculators in the oil market, okay, if the oil producers were selling it to the oil refinery, to the end users, would the price be a lot lower? Yes, it would be. Okay, because the oil traders are actually going into the market to try to make a quick buck. They're trying to trade the oil futures contracts. And what this does, right, is that it pushes the price of oil up. And who pays? The consumer pays. Okay, you must understand that at the end of the day, who are the ones who are paying for speculators? It is people like you and I. We pay for it at the gas pump. We pay for it in the high cost of production in our factories. We pay for it just about anything that uses oil, which is almost everything. Okay, so we, the end consumers, are the ones paying for it. Who pays for excessive property speculation? Okay, you buy a property and then you say that I would like to make money off the property. Who doesn't want to make money off the property? What I'm trying to say is that I'm not saying that don't buy property. In fact, what I'm saying is that look at the intrinsic value of the property. Look at whether you really need this property. Look at whether you would be comfortable living in that property, rather than holding on to something in the hope that you are going to make money in a couple of years time. And what if you don't make money? Then you start to panic. This is exactly what happens to people who buy buy the option in the hope that when the property obtains its temporary occupation period, TOP, temporary occupation permit, sorry, TOP, then after that, right, they want to sell it once the property obtains its TOP. So if you could not sell it, what would you do? You would, and if you can't get a loan. That was back then when there was deferred payment. A lot of people, they were buying contracts, and then after that they were hoping that once the property is completed, right, they could quickly sell it off for a quick buck. What happens to those people who can't sell it off for a quick buck? Okay, they sell it at a loss. There are a lot of people who bought new launches. I can give you countless examples. Of course, I can't name names, but you can see it from maybe some URA transactions. You can take a look. It's obvious that not everyone who buys during a new launch will make money. Some people, when they buy, right, they are buying with the hope that when it completes, or when like maybe 4 or 5 years down the road, or 3 or 4 years down the road, they want to flip it and quickly make money. There are a lot of people who are asking property agents, can I quickly flip the property? If you go in with this mentality, right, then what difference are you from the oil trader, the people who are flipping the contracts? You are no much more different. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that if there were less speculative ideals, people with less speculative ideas, right, or ideals, right, in the property market, right, frankly, the property market price will be a lot lower. Okay, if we are only buying properties for the hope that when we sell it off, right, we will make money, right, then the property price will continue to go up in a straight line. And just like what happened in the oil market, right, there will come a point in time when the demand is just not there and the supply is yet overwhelming. Okay, and what happened to the oil market? It went negative. Whatever happened to the oil market can happen to any other speculative market. Anything with a large amount of speculation, the market can turn on its head. And that is exactly what happened with oil. Imagine the fact that people who are holding onto these oil contracts, right, oil future contracts, they had to receive the barrel of oil if they held on to these oil contracts. And what happened? They started to sell the oil contracts. They were paying people to take the oil contracts of them. So the oil contracts went to, like, I think negative $37. Means that the people with the contracts were paying you to take the contract of them. They were paying you they were paying you 37 US dollars to take the contract of them, and on top of them paying you 37 US dollars, you will get a barrel of oil. The fact of the matter is that they don't have a need for this. So there are a lot of times when in any market, the speculative activity can be spotted when people are buying up assets or commodities which they don't have a proper need for. Okay, so if you are out there in the market looking for a property, look at its intrinsic attributes. Is it in a good location? Is it, close to good schools? Is it something that you or your family would like to live in? I'm speaking to those who are buying and selling their family home. Okay, try to think of what your family would like first, and try to pull out the speculative portion of out of the equation first. Okay, not everyone will make money in the property market, just like not everyone will make money in the stock market. Okay, I have mentioned this many times already. For every person who made money in the property market, there is maybe one or maybe half another, or maybe for every 10 people who make money in the property market, right, there are a number of people who lose money in the property market as well. It's just that the people who make money in the property market are louder than the people who lose money in the property market. So you see a lot of people on Facebook, on Instagram, on, I don't know, on YouTube. Okay, they'll come out with these videos and say, hey, let me teach you my 10 secrets of how to do property investment. There is no secret to do property investment. Okay, the actual secret of doing property investment, right, is just to buy a property in a good location at a fair price. That is the secret of it. Warren Buffett can tell you the same thing when he's looking at a counter, like when he's looking at a stock. It's the same thing. Look for a great stock at a fair price or an undervalued price. That's the same thing. So for property investment, let me tell you the secret. The secret is just to look for a good property at a fair price. What is good? Then you have to characterize what is good. Then what is a fair price? Then look at the market. What is a fair price? Don't overpay. Don't overpay just because you think that somebody will overpay on your overpaid property. That is called speculation. Okay, so I hope that the oil market can bring some lessons to maybe people who are out there who are investing. Don't come and tell me that oil is not a hard commodity. It's not brick and mortar, but it's oil. Okay, so the world runs on oil. Okay, in fact, right, you consume, although you consume your property every day, right, either you are renting it or you stay in the property that you own, right, but every other product that's around you, right, is a byproduct of some oil or some fossil fuel that was burned. So we definitely need oil in this world, just like we need a shelter in this world. So in my opinion, right, if we were to try to make these two I would say assets or commodities, right, pull them similar, right, and try to learn lessons from each of them, right, and try to mirror them and try to make them as similar as possible so that we can appreciate the lessons learned in the oil market, right, then I think it will make us better property investors or property buyers. Okay, but at the end of the day, if you are buying a property for your family to stay, please, I would like to tell you, go and ask your family members what type of property would they like to stay. It's just like I stay in the northeast. If you were to ask me to stay in the west, I really don't want to stay in the west. Not because the west is no good. I'm not against the west. I'm just saying that I'm not used to it. So even if you give me an extremely good deal in Jurong or maybe in Woodlands, far up north, I'm not going to go. Okay, I'm really not going to go. I'm happy where I am. I'm not going to move. for a steal, right? No, I'm not going to move because my family wants to live here. I'm happy here where I am. Okay, so that's the main reason. Even you tell me say, oh, can make a lot of money, but my family's comfort and happiness is more important. Okay, so try to look back and try to dial down on all the when you call your property agent, you try to uh, share with him or her, right, what your family really needs rather than which property can make a lot of money in future. Okay, in essence, right, if you really want to make money, right, then buy a plot of land, demolish the whole plot of land, rebuild, and then after that, maybe that's something that is a better bet to make money. Okay, so you're taking raw materials and then putting it all together, right, and then selling the completed product. That is a almost surefire way to make money. I'm not saying that no developer lose money. I'm just saying that the high is a higher percentage because you're taking raw materials, adding value to it. But in essence, if you're buying a Singapore property, you're putting a bet on the Singapore government, on Singapore as a whole, to develop and grow. Then after that, from there, then your property would appreciate in price. Okay, so that's all from me, and hope everyone is safe. And we're into the last lap of our circuit breaker, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, see you guys.